I can't even believe I'm saying this out loud, but 8 years ago, on what was supposed to be a celebration dinner for my family, my own parents stood up in front of 20 of their closest friends and announced to the entire room that I was the family mistake. Yeah, you heard that right. I was 17. Sitting there in the dress I ironed myself because nobody else noticed. I needed help. And my mom put her hands on my shoulders like she was presenting a trophy and said, "Clear as day, this is our daughter, our family mistake." The room exploded in laughter. My dad jumped in with, "She's the 1% we wish we could write off." Phones came out. People were crying from laughing so hard. And I just sat there staring at the tablecloth, feeling every single eye on me like I was the punchline they'd all been waiting for. Before I begin my story, I just want to say thank you for listening to me pour my heart out. It means more than you know. Please let me know in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is. Love picturing your world as I share mine. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. That little click helps me more than you can imagine. Now, let me tell you what really happened. My name is Olivia Smith, and that night changed everything. I grew up in a big house outside Chicago, Illinois, the kind with the manicured lawn and the 3-car garage that everybody in the neighborhood envied. My parents always acted like we were the perfect family. Dad was climbing the ladder at his real estate development firm. Mom was on every charity board, and my little brother was the golden child, headed to private school on a scholarship. They bragged about nonstop. Me, I was just there. I did okay in school, had a partial scholarship to Illinois State, but nobody put a banner up for that. I was the extra kid they never quite planned for, and they never let me forget it. Even if most days it was wrapped in little jokes nobody else was supposed to notice. That dinner was supposed to be about Dad's big revenue milestone and my brother's acceptance letter. I was just the servery filling wine glasses, clearing plates, trying to stay invisible. Then Mom clinked her glass, stood behind me, and dropped that bomb. I felt the laughter hit me like a wave. My cheeks burned, my stomach twisted, and something inside me just snapped. I pushed my chair back, looked them both in the eye, and said, "I'm not laughing." The room got a little quieter, but nobody stopped them. Nobody defended me. Mom rolled her eyes and said, "Oh, come on, Liv, it's just a joke. Don't be so sensitive." Dad chuckled like it was nothing. I walked upstairs, packed a backpack with a few clothes, my sketchbook, and the $42 I'd saved from babysitting. Came back down, set my house key on the table, and told them, "You're going to regret saying that out loud." They laughed harder. Mom said, "Where do you think you're going?" Dad waved me off like I was a kid throwing a tantrum. "You'll be back by morning." I walked out into the cold Chicago night and never looked back. I took the L downtown. Then a bus, as far as my money would get me, ended up in Asheville, North Carolina. Why Asheville? Honestly, it was the cheapest ticket that got me out of Illinois fast. And I'd read somewhere it was artsy, full of creative people, maybe a place I could breathe. The mountains looked kind when the bus rolled in at dawn, all misty and green, nothing like the flat suburbs I'd left. I found a hostel in the arts district that let me pay day by day, crashed on a top bunk, and woke up knowing I had maybe a week before I was completely broke. 17. No high school diploma yet. I'd been planning to finish senior year, no family, no plan. I walked those steep downtown streets until my feet hurt. Hit in every cafe, boutique, and restaurant with a help wanted sign. Most places took one look at me and said, "Sorry, honey, we need experience." By day 3, I was hungry enough to swallow every ounce of pride I had left. I pushed open the door to this little mountain diner called Blue Ridge Bite, greasy spoon, checkered floors. Locals at the counter talking about hiking trails and breweries. The woman behind the register, Marlene, 50-something with a smoker's rasp and kind eyes, sized me up while I stood there shaking. "You hiring?" I asked. She raised an eyebrow. "You ever waited tables?" "No, ma'am, but I work hard and I learn quick. I'll take any shift." The cook, a guy named Jonah about my age, leaned out from the kitchen and grinned. "She looks like she's running on pure stubborn." "That's half the job right there," Marlene snorted, tossed me an apron and said, "Clear tables through the breakfast rush. Don't break too many dishes and we'll talk." I survived. Spilled coffee on myself, mixed up orders, Got yelled at by a tourist who wanted his eggs sunnier, but I hustled. By the end of the shift, Marlene handed me $20 cash and said, "Be here tomorrow at 6. We'll see if you'll last a week." That diner saved me. The tips weren't much, but they were mine. Every dollar I earned felt like proof I wasn't the mistake they said I was. Jonah became my first real friend. He'd grown up in foster care, knew what it felt like to start with nothing. On slow nights, after closing, we'd sit on the back steps sharing fries, and he'd ask, "So what do you really run from, Chicago girl?" I didn't tell him everything at first, but bit by bit it came out. He never pitied me, just nodded and said, "Families can be the worst kind of bullies, huh?" I finished high school online while pulling double shifts, sleeping 4 hours a night on that hostel bunk. Asheville has this amazing community college with a FIBA arts program, textiles, fashion design, all of it. I used to sit in the park near the river sketching outfits on tourists, flowy dresses on the hippies, sharp jackets on the weekend visitors from Charlotte. Designing was the only thing that ever made me feel like I had control. Fabric doesn't judge you. You cut it wrong, you recut, you sew it strong, it holds. One night, Jonah saw my sketchbook and flipped through it. "Olivia, these are good. Like, really good. You should apply to the program." I laughed. College felt impossible. Tuition, applications, money I didn't have. But Marlene's sister had gone through this same program years ago, and she sat me down with a cup of coffee and walked me through FAFSA. Scholarships, everything. "Girl, you're already surviving on your own. Might as well get credit for it." I applied. Wrote an essay about turning pain into pattern. Attached photos of designs I'd sketched on diner napkins. When the acceptance email came with enough financial aid that I could swing it if I kept working, I screamed so loud in the diner break room that Marlene threatened to dock my pay for scaring customers. College wasn't easy. I was still waitressing, still sharing a tiny apartment with 2 other students, still counting every penny. A lot of my classmates came from money parents who paid for fabric and machines. I shopped thrift stores and clearance racks, taught myself to upcycle. First year critiques were brutal. I'd pin up a piece, maybe a jacket with raw edges and visible mending. "Stitches like scars," and the professor would say. "It's interesting, but it feels angry. Are you sure you want to wear your damage so openly?" The class would laugh a little, and I'd feel 17 again, shrinking in my chair. That's when I met Tessa. She sat next to me in studio one day, saw me ripping seams out of something I hated, and said, "Don't soften it. The world doesn't need more pretty lies." Tessa was a few years older, single mom, putting herself through school while raising a toddler. She got it, the exhaustion, the fear, you're one bad month from losing everything. We started studying together, sharing childcare so she could make night classes, splitting grocery runs. She introduced me to a local women's support group that met the why mostly women in their 30s to 60s dealing with divorce, health stuff, job loss, trying to figure out how to keep going. I was the youngest one there, but nobody treated me like a kid. They just listened when I finally told them about that dinner, about walking out with $42. One night after group, a woman named Diane, she'd just beaten breast cancer and was rebuilding her credit after medical bills, pulled me aside. "Olivia, honey, what you went through was emotional abuse. Plain and simple. But look at you. You're here. You're building something." That's resilience. She told me about mindfulness, apps that helped her through chemo, about how she started walking the mountain trails every morning just to prove to herself she still could. I started doing the similarly hikes before shifts, breathing in that clean mountain air, reminding myself I was stronger than the voices in my head. I threw myself into my designs. Junior year, there was a regional competition cash prize, possible internship, real exposure. The theme was open, and I knew exactly what I wanted to say. I created a small collection called Unplanned, pieces that looked soft and approachable from far away. But up close, you saw the deliberate flaws, mended tears, embroidered words hidden in linings like "not broken." Still here, worth it. The final piece was a coat with a pocket big enough to hold everything you might need to start over. ID, cash, a sketchbook, hope. I didn't sleep for weeks, worked doubles at the diner, sewed it till my fingers bled, leaned on Tessa and the women's group when I wanted to quit. When the email came that I'd placed first, I sat on the floor of my tiny apartment and cried ugly, relieved sobs. The prize money paid off some debt. The internship led to freelance gigs, and suddenly people were noticing my work. That's when the past came knocking. A year after I won that competition, my phone rang with a number from the Chicago area code. I almost didn't answer old habits, but something made me pick up. It was my little brother, Ethan. His voice had gotten deeper, but he sounded shaky, like he was holding back tears. Liv, it's me. I got your number from Aunt Claire. Please don't hang up. I gripped the phone tighter, standing in my tiny Asheville apartment with mountain mists rolling past the window. What's going on, Ethan? He took a breath that sounded like it hurt. It's bad. Mom and Dad, everything's falling apart. The business tanked. Debts everywhere. They're talking foreclosure on the house. They're scared. Liv. And they keep saying your name like you're the only one who can help now. I laughed, short and bitter. Me? The family mistake is suddenly useful? He went quiet. I know what they did was awful. I was there that night. I laughed too because I didn't know what else to do. But I'm sorry. I should have said something. They're different now, broken. They talk about you all the time, how proud they are of what you've built. Please, just come talk to them. One time, I should have said no. Should have hung up and kept building the life I'd fought for in Asheville. But part of me, the part that still hiked those trails, at dawn just to feel my own strength, wanted to see what rock bottom looked like for people who once stood so tall on my back. So I booked a cheap flight back to Chicago, rented the cheapest car I could find, and drove out to the suburbs I swore I'd never see again. The house looked tired, lawn patchy, paint chipping, foreclosure notice taped to the door like a bad joke. I parked down the block and walked up, heart pounding harder than I wanted to admit. Mom answered the bell. She'd aged 10 years in 8 hair, graying at the roots. No makeup, eyes red from crying. Olivia, she whispered, like saying my name might make me disappear. Dad stood behind her in the hallway, thinner, shoulders folded in. The man who used to fill every room now looked like he was trying to take up as little space as possible. We sat at that same oak dining table, no fancy dinner this time, just stacks of bills and overdue notices. They told me everything, bad real estate deals, loans to cover loans, credit cards maxed out to keep up appearances. Dad's firm collapsed when the market shifted and they'd overextended. They'd even drained what was left of my old college fund years ago, thinking they'd replace it before I notice. We thought you'd be fine, Mom said, twisting a tissue. You always were so independent. I stared at her. You made sure of that, didn't you? Then Dad said the words I never thought I'd hear. We were wrong, Olivia, about everything. That night, we never should have said those things. We were showing off, trying to be clever, and we hurt you in a way no parent ever should. Mom nodded, tears spilling. We're so sorry. We're losing everything, and we have no right to ask. But if there's any way you could help, just a loan. Advice, anything, we'll take it. We just don't want to end up on the street. I let the silence sit there a long time. Part of me wanted to walk out and let them feel what abandonment really tastes like. But another part, the part that had learned from those women at the Y, from Tessa balancing motherhood and dreams, from Diane fighting cancer with nothing but grit, knew that real strength isn't just walking away. Sometimes it's deciding what kind of person you're going to be when you have all the power. So I came back the next day with a legal pad and a plan. If I help, I told them, it's not to save your old life. That's gone. This is about survival, and it comes with rules. I made them sell the luxury cars, the boat they barely used, the designer bags Mom still clung to. They moved into a modest 2-bedroom apartment on the south side of Chicago. Nothing fancy. Connected them with a nonprofit credit counselor I found through the women's group network, and set up a budget stricter than anything they'd ever followed. But money wasn't the hard part. The hard part was the rest. I told them any relationship from here on out had to be earned. Therapy, I said, both of you, separate and together. You figure out why you thought humiliating your own kid was entertainment, Mom. Started crying again, but she nodded. Dad, too, they found therapists through their new bare bones. Insurance, turns out, community. Mental health centers take most plans, and waiting lists aren't forever if you keep calling. And the public apology? That was a non-negotiable. They posted it on the neighborhood Facebook group and the old friends email chain, the same circles that saw the original video. Someone had leaked years ago. Mom wrote, 8 years ago, we stood in our dining room and called our daughter, Olivia, a mistake in front of friends. We thought we were being funny. We were cruel. We are deeply sorry for the pain we caused her and for the example we set. We were wrong. Dad added his own. I laughed along and made it worse. I failed as a father that night, and in many ways before it. Olivia has built an incredible life despite us, and we're trying to become people worthy of knowing her again. The comments were brutal, some people unforgiving, some shocked, a few kind, but it wasn't about the audience. It was about them finally owning it out loud without a punchline. They got regular jobs. Mom at a department store folding clothes, ironic, considering how she used to brag about never shopping off the rack. Dad in an office doing data entry. No more country club, no more big parties. Just showing up, paying bills, learning what it feels like to be regular people who made big mistakes. Me? I poured the prize money and early brand sales into something bigger. I bought our old house at the foreclosure auction, paid a fraction of what it was once worth. Gutted it, turned the dining room where everything broke into a bright studio space. Upstairs, bedrooms became workrooms with grants and community donations. I opened Second Draft, a nonprofit offering free sewing and design classes, portfolio help, and small emergency grants for women starting over. Single moms, women leaving bad relationships, anyone who'd been told they were a mistake or a burden. We teach budgeting basics alongside pattern making, mindfulness for stress alongside how to negotiate medical bills. The sign out front says, "You're not the problem. You're the next chapter." My parents came to the opening. They stood quietly in the back, watching teenagers and women in their 50s laugh over sewing machines, where their fancy dinner table used to be. Mom cried the whole time. Dad just kept saying, "You did this. You really did this." I didn't hug them that day. We're not there yet. Some months we talk on the phone. Some months we don't. Forgiveness isn't a switch. I'm still working on it. One honest conversation at a time. Therapy helps me too. Turns out you can inherit more than money problems. But here's what Alina from my women's group says. And she's right. Resilience isn't never falling apart. It's deciding what you're going to build with the pieces. I built a life in Asheville, surrounded by mountains that remind me every day how far I've climbed. I built a community of women who holds each other up instead of tearing each other down. And yeah, I built boundaries strong enough to protect the girl who once walked out with $42 and a broken heart. So if you're listening to this and you're in your 20s juggling debt and doubt, or in your 40s fighting health battles nobody sees, or in your 60s wondering if it's too late to start over, hear me. You are not the mistake anyone ever called you. You are not the punchline. You are the whole story, and you get to decide how it ends. Thank you for letting me share mine.